And boom! In the bottom right-hand corner. From Team Root, ladies and gentlemen, it is Major. Lost last game against this guy. In the top left-hand corner, looking incredibly impressive. From Team Infinity 7, ladies and gentlemen, it is Axslav.
All right, so here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see what these guys can offer after that very exciting game. Of course, we had a very short game number 1, very drawn-out game number 2, but man, that second game felt like it was about 5 minutes long because of how much action we had the whole time. So good luck, have fun coming out from both our players. Actually, I take that back. Major just wants to wish his opponent luck, but to have no fun while doing it. So
yeah, he feels like maybe he had a little too much fun with that last match. So all right, let's look in the head of Major here. You just had a game where, you know, in many instances you were ahead of your opponent. Well, maybe not particular times, but in ways that you were able to take advantage of. And you just didn't do a great job at it. So how do you feel as Major, you know, going up now against Axslav? Do you want to take it to the late game, or do you want to try to end it with timings?
I think you want to try and end it with timings, if it's me. We saw that Axslav is pretty resilient and very good with those backstabs, and it's going to be very difficult to try and break someone who has the tendency to do something like that. But if you can get going before Axslav's able to get his strategy off the ground, then I think you're going to be in a little bit better position. So whether it's drop play, whether it's just a big old 2-medevac push, I don't know what we're going to see, but I would suspect that we're going to see a certain timing out of Major.
All right, so no gas taken. 1 Rax expand, looking like it's going to be Major's opening here. Axslav will be scouting in the bottom left first, so not making his way over here.
And looks like Major's actually just going to go directly across the middle of the map, so both players are actually going to find each other at... no, okay, there he goes, and diverts back to the right. Never mind. So both players going to scout each other here in a bit. Axslav going to get there first. He's not decided to pull off of gas quite yet because he has imperfect knowledge of what his opponent is doing. And Major hiding this pretty well, putting up that supply depot up at the front. We know it's going to be a gasless fast expand. Axslav does not.
Yeah, and he didn't cut Marines here, which is actually pretty interesting. When you're going to go for the double supply depot, you don't have to make Marines. I mean, when you're going for the 1 Rax expand, you can cut the Marines, well, especially the fact that he made 2.
Yes.
1 is, you know, okay, you want to look a little more standard. You made 2 Marines. So this 1 makes Axslav go, okay, if he's going for a 1 Rax expand here, it's going to be later, which is definitely something to point out. You know, that expansion is definitely, it's 100 minerals later because of this. And just most of the time that we see players go for a 1 Rax expand, we don't see 2 Marines, we see 1. So, I mean, the possibility of a timing attack is definitely prevalent. He's pumping out a 3rd Marine right now. He's not focusing, you know, on getting tech upgrades, getting more structures. He wants to make sure he has units. And so I feel like you could be right, Kevin.
Here comes barracks number 2 and 3, so he's just going to continue to buffer that count, but obviously you haven't seen any gas quite yet, so I'd be curious to see if he invests into upgrades or if he's going to go straight for medevacs a la Select and try and, I just said Select, and now I'm like, oh, Select doesn't play StarCraft. I'm sad now.
I actually thought of that too.
Anyway,
a picture from the other day. He looked so happy.
I know. Or if it's going to be something like Select, if we're going to see, you know, quick medevacs and a timing push from there. Now, Axslav has to run away with the Zealot. Yes, he's got his Stalker up to the front, but no real surprises here. 1 gate expand, following this up with a Sentry and Nexus coming out.
Definitely sensing, all right, you have a pretty high Marine count. You haven't let up at all. I'm feeling like something may be happening here. I'm going to drop another Nexus, or another Gateway. But here's the thing. He only dropped 1 Gateway, and he didn't go Nexus into Forge into Cannon.
Oh, here we go. It's just a little bit later, 3rd gate. Okay. Yeah. I was wondering about that too, because yes, you usually see 2 gateways put down at the exact same time. A little bit later, you know, this is when you put down 2 gates after the expand, not a robo. It's 1 of 2 reasons. 1, either you put them down early, like 27 supply, because you feel like something's about to hit you, or 2, you put them down a little later supply, 33 supply, something like that, because you have perfect knowledge of what your opponent is doing. And Axslav feels he has that. I mean, he feels that he's got a good read on what's going on, and he doesn't need the robotics facility right away to do any scouting. So
this is looking very much like game number 1. Marines were getting ready to go around the banana hallway. Now they're coming back, and actually the timing here from Axslav, he's coming forward with his probe, would have been beautiful if Major had been moving out. He would have come up the ramp, he would have seen no units, would have instantly felt suspicious. But actually the bunker takes out the probe before he even gets to the top and sees the Marines.
So Axslav now has a little bit less information than he did before. Yes, he did get picked off by the bunker, but that was about it. bit. And as we can see on Major side of things, not actually going after a ton of upgrades right now, no engineering bay quite yet, instead prioritizing out the number of Marines and their upgrade capabilities. So we may just see like a big Marine medevac push here in a bit.
Yeah, it's entirely possible with the quick stim factory going to be following up. And well, he's got double reactor. That's actually a lot of gas investment. But there it is, reactor as well. So Major's going to be foregoing any upgrades or anything like that, and he's going to be pouring his gas. Because remember, he's only got 2 refineries.
Yeah, I mean,
he's going to be putting it into Marines, medevacs, reactors.
Yeah, this is going to be a massive 5 Marine at a time, double medevac, huge push coming out soon. This is going to be very difficult for Axslav to deal with. Now, he does have a lot of the infrastructure in place. He needs to do something. Hopefully, for his sake, we'll see a couple more gateways down here in a second. Of course, that's us as casters with perfect knowledge, and not just continued Immortal production. Immortal is coming up, and that does die pretty quickly to stim Marine medevac push.
Yeah, Immortal, and the damage output is just so incredibly low. It's almost as bad as Marauders versus Probes. But scans, wow, gets the Observer. Yeah, really, really nice there from Major. But as we were talking about, Kevin, I mean, it's not surprising to see Major go for this.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is kind of the possibility that we discussed at the beginning of this game. We see more Marauders starting to be added on now, as Major's saving up and getting himself a little bit more powerful attack. Certainly has the potential to put on some pressure here in a bit. Axslav putting down the robotics bay, though, and very nice move there, as we're going to see some Colossus production here in a bit, or maybe even War Person with speed as we go along, pick up some Immortals and do some economic harassment.
So it looks like Major is going to be hitting around 11 minutes, because he started combat shields at 9, which is, of course, you know, it's a 110-second upgrade. So, but he's moving out across the map right now, joining up his Marine forces. He has a lot of them. And his medevacs will be also joining momentarily. Now, he has dropped down an expansion behind this, which is actually super common, especially on Entombed Valley. He's not completely all in it right now, so you want to drop an expansion behind this.
Right. I mean, this is an attack. I mean, it's not like, oh, I'm going to devastate you right now. I mean, he wants to do damage. He has the potential with the units he has to do some significant damage, but really it's going to come down to whether those Colossus can get out in time, because if that happens, yeah, Axslav may have to delay his expansion. That's going to be the real power of this attack, but if he gets that Colossus out, he's going to be more than fine to deal with this.
Oh, he'll be I mean, this is just a gigantic ball of Marines that don't even have combat shields. They're about to. And as we said, you know, 11 minutes, here we are. Combat shields kicks in, and it should be moving up the ramp. Yeah, this is going to... Oh, my God.
He's going to land the factory, and he can't quite get it down yet. And nice force field to at least delay the units while this Colossus pops out. It's got 2 seconds, 1 second. It's done. Going to make its way down right now, but already a few units have died. No range, of course, but it's still enough to start picking off bio units very, very quickly. Axslav has done a nice job pulling back behind his mineral line to make sure he takes minimal damage, but the sheer staggering output of bio units is quite strong here, and Major is still doing some significant damage. However, the high-value units, the Immortals, the Colossus, none of those have died yet. Those are replaceable.
Yeah, he only had 2 sentries. He lost them, but now, you know, he lost those Marines. He's got to retreat from here. Medevacs do survive, which is nice. He also denied that 3rd, which was very important to mention. But Axslav is, you know, I'd say he did catch the short end of that, but he's not in too much trouble.
No, I mean, he certainly has outs. He's going to put down his 3rd base right now, and that's the real deal, is that he's significantly behind Major's 3rd base as the Orbital Command does just finish up. Now, the real benefits, though, that Axslav has going for him is he's investing into double upgrades. Major did decide to get him at about the same time here, but you can see the power of the already of the Chrono Boost is now Axslav's ahead by 13 seconds. He actually started those just before, or I'm sorry, just after Major started his own upgrade. So you can see the power of that there. But Major now, he has a pretty incredible position. He's got so many barracks coming up. He's got really nice double upgrades. He's already powering ahead with all the Vikings he's going to need to counter these forces out. So Major now is really in position to do some significant damage in a couple minutes.
Yeah, he definitely, I mean, you can't emphasize that enough. The position that Major's in right now is just really, 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 really good. Because he tech with all this, with this attack, excuse me. There was no, you know, it wasn't just Marines and Marauders here. And what really impressed me is that behind this attack, you know, Major, the other game, had forgotten really to get his engineering base and was incredibly behind on upgrades. And this, actually, he got his E-base, but he forgot to start his upgrades, is what it was. This time was very on the ball in that regard, did not let that mistake catch him, and is now, I mean, throwing out a 2nd starport. He's got 1-1 about to finish. His armory is a little bit late, admittedly, by like 10 seconds or so, but I mean, he's doing great. Major playing very solid.
Okay, so Major now, he's got a lot of bioforces that can be produced at a time. What's his economy on? 69 workers to his opponent's 58. So that represents a massive economic disparity, and you can already see there. Better gas income and about 30% higher mineral income, too. So Major certainly hitting everything he needs to, going up to a second starport, a fourth command center. Things are looking good for him for the late game. Hasn't added on Ghost quite yet, and Axslav is making the switch into Charge Light Archon.
Now, maybe this is what Major needs in order to take... We're going to learn, actually, a ton here about Axslav versus Major and the two playstyles clashing. Because Axslav's incredible harass won him that last game. In this situation, Major is going to be very economically ahead. I don't know that Axslav's going to have the ability to afford going for that harass.
Oh man, these Vikings just got in a great position. Well, first Colossus goes down, the second one's actually going to die here momentarily, and that should give Major what he needs to just start charging ahead, and he does. He can start landing these Vikings here in a second too. He's just drawing fire from the Stalkers for now, but Major's done the damage that he wants. He killed those Colossi off. There's no Templar on the field, so the splash damage is nil.
This is really... I mean, this is so bad for Axslav, so fantastic for Major. He just lost those Colossi. So what does he need now? He needs to invest in more splash. What can't he afford? He can't afford Dark Templar harass. He has to pour all of his gas right now into getting High Templar, getting Colossus, getting those high-value units that he just lost almost for free replaced.
And look at this. He's not going to be allowed to do so because Major is still bearing down. He has great position here with his ranged units. Lands his Vikings off to the side to prevent more units from being able to make their way through. He shows Templar, but Storm, we know, is not anywhere close to done. They're forced to expend all of their energy on hitting a couple of feedbacks, and still Major sits here with a great position. He's taking out these forces one by one, and there's just really nothing that Axslav can do about this.
Yeah, he's trying to hold, but a fantastic build out of Major, and crisp execution is now leading him to have his forces barreled down on Axslav's natural expansion, killing off everything Stalkers. Final Immortal looking like it's going to fall as well, and I think this might be it for Axslav. There's so many medevacs keeping these units alive.
All right, well, the last couple of Zealots die. There's GG. Major goes up 2-1 here in this best of 5. Congratulations to him. Still a couple of games to go, though. We'll see if Axslav can turn things around, but Major looked really good in that game.
Yeah, he looked phenomenal. I mean, like, Axslav is really notorious, of course, for being very, very good with his macro, very good with his strategy. Seemed to have a good read on what Major was going to be thrown at him, but it just wasn't enough.
No, it just wasn't at all. But game number 4 is going to be played. Not sure of the map. It popped up blank there for a second. We'll find out in a second after the short commercial break, guys. When we come back, it's game number 4 between Infinity 7 Axslav and ROOT.MajOr. Don't go anywhere.